Breathing easily is something many of us just take for granted. But anyone who suffers from asthma, like my brother, knows this can change quickly. Millions of people have to manage their asthma, and that is something chemists can help with. This is Real Chem. Inhalers contain a fixed concentration of an active ingredient that is aerosolized to help them breathe. If the concentration is off, the relaxation effect on the trachea is lost. What do we mean by a fixed concentration? Vamos a mirar juntos. Let's explore. Chemists often use the term molarity to describe concentration. Molarity is defined as the number of moles of a solute per volume. In other words, the number of particles in a given volume. Imagine you're given a solution that has a fixed concentration. That is, a fixed number of moles of a compound in 1 liter of water. Here we can use X to represent 1 mole of the compound. This is analogous to knowing drug concentration, or rather the exact concentration of the active ingredient in a medication. In some asthma medications, the concentration of the active ingredient is fixed within a certain range in order to relax the trachea, which then allows the patient to breathe. Outside of this range, the trachea will not relax. If we zoom in, we can see what is happening in this solution. Here, we imagine that we are zooming in the trachea and seeing a fixed amount of the medication coating the trachea to allow dilation. Now, if I were to remove half the volume of water from my solution, I will still have the same number of moles of compound in the total volume. But now, when I look at the same area, I see more particles. I have made this solution concentrated. I'm adding more of an active ingredient in the medication to the trachea. The concentration is not in the required range, and the trachea will not relax. Now, instead of removing half the volume of water, I instead double the volume of water to the original container. In this case, when I zoom in, I will see that there are less particles. In fact, there should be half the number of particles. We have effectively done a dilution. I'm adding less of the active ingredient in the medication to the trachea. There will be no reaction occurring, and the trachea will not relax.